Baki-Haima, aka Baki-Dou, the Invincible Samurai, you already know we gotta get into episode 12. Oh yes. Okay, the last episode, you know that Motobe went to go visit Yujiro Haima at his penthouse, and Yujiro was telling Motobe how he wants to face Miyamoto, and Motobe tells Yujiro that he does not think that he is capable of taking Miyamoto out, and then Yujiro is like, why? And then Motobe tells him that he's the only one who understands the type of martial artist that Miyamoto is, and that he will protect not only Yujiro, but Baki, Shibukawa, Katsumi, and who else? Jack. Yeah, Jack. And it sends Yujiro into a complete rage, and he gets ready to attack Motobe, but Motobe, boop, drops that smoke bomb and gets the hell out of Dodge. He hits that exit door like that, right? Well, Yujiro is still mad, and he powers up, busts the windows out of his penthouse, causes a huge earthquake, and then we go to where Miyamoto is. And he is at Tokugawa's house. They sitting around drinking sake, having a good old time, and guess who shows up? Yujiro. So Yujiro goes in there, he starts drinking with them, and then we got Yujiro and Miyamoto talking about what they think about each other, and then Miyamoto tells Yujiro that he is trying to get back to that fame and that fortune that he once was during his time. And then at the end of the episode, you know, Miyamoto looks at Yujiro, cuts him in the neck, and we about to start episode 12. Like the video, sub to the channel, we're gonna get into it right now. Well, Miyamoto tells Yujiro that when he cut him, it felt like he was cutting armor, not flesh. You know, Yujiro is that ogre boy. He ain't the normal human being. And his blade didn't penetrate. Yo, Yujiro tells Miyamoto that he is disappointed because he didn't even draw his real sword. He was like, listen, is this sword play or word play? So then Yujiro cuts the top of the sake bottle, and the glass cuts Miyamoto right there in his forehead. And then he tells Tokugawa to give Miyamoto a sword. Okay, so they go outside. Miyamoto has his two swords. He pulls one of them out. He's generating his aura. We about to see what goes down between Miyamoto and Yujiro. Full video is uploaded on the channel right now. So go ahead, like the video, sub to the channel, and let's continue. So then it goes to a flashback where Miyamoto is 58 years old, and he's in a dojo with his students, and one of the students he's actually sparring with, he has his wooden sword, and he's standing in front of him, and he's like, hey, why are you hesitating? It's not like I can cut you down. But then he's in that stance as if he has his long and his short sword, right? So the student lunges at him, and of course, you know, Miyamoto stops him in his tracks, and he holds him, and then he's like, stab, cut here, stab, cut here, and then grabs him by the wrist, flips him around, and allows him to land on his feet. And then he tells the students to continue to train and practice, and then he walks off saying that the technique is almost complete. But before he walks off, he tells the student, now you in pieces. So then it goes to him being able to write cursive in his head, and also being able to train with his swords without actually using his swords. It was all in his brain, y'all. So Yujiro introduces himself saying that he is the strongest species on the planet, and they're going back and forth. You know, Yujiro's telling them, hey man, you strong too. And Yujiro tells him that, hey, you strong too, and you live up to your reputation. So Tokugawa confirms that Yujiro is the strongest man being in the world. So then Miyamoto grabs his swords and returns them to Tokugawa. So then Miyamoto lunges at Yujiro using his Nichi Ichi Ryu, which is basically the invisible sword technique that he's mastered. Yujiro dodges, but he ends up getting cut in the thigh. So Yujiro finally realizes that Miyamoto has mastered his Nichi Ichin Ryu, which means that he does not need swords to complete these sword-like attacks. And as Miyamoto is getting ready to attack Yujiro again, guess who steps in the middle of him? Motobe. He takes the attack that Miyamoto had in store for Yujiro, and he just falls out. And then Yujiro gets pissed. He kicks Motobe up with his foot, and then he starts beating up on Motobe like, what are you doing? Then Miyamoto puts his hand to Yujiro's neck and like, hey dog, that's enough, all right? And then Tokugawa is trying to run towards them as well. And then Yujiro is like, hey, what are you doing trying to stop me? So then Tokugawa says the match has been rendered invalid. So Motobe finally wakes up, still feeling the effect of Miyamoto's attack, and Tokugawa told him, hey man, what you did was a little bit extreme. And Motobe is like, listen, if I did not step in, then Yujiro would have been cut down from that attack by Miyamoto. So then Motobe tells Tokugawa to watch out, right? And then all you see is Motobe's sword going through a roach. So then we got Yujiro and we got Miyamoto. They walking down the street, turning heads and everything. And then Miyamoto is asking Yujiro, hey, people are looking at us, they're staring at us. Are you famous? He was like, well, shoot, maybe, yeah. So of course Motobe wants to fight Miyamoto next, right? And then Motobe says, listen, if anybody opposes me fighting Miyamoto next, tell them we can do battle and we can use any type of weapons, any type of skills that they want to use. And then Tokugawa realizes, yeah, Motobe is up next to fight Miyamoto. So Miyamoto and Yujiro are at a bar drinking whiskey, and they're talking about Motobe, and Miyamoto is impressed by Motobe, saying, hey man, he has a whole bunch of skills. I knew that he had hidden weapons inside of his clothing, and I think he's a formidable opponent. He's very different than the ones that I have faced so far. So Yujiro tells Miyamoto that Motobe has mastered ninjutsu, which means, of course, he is skilled in all different types of weaponry, and it's actually come to fruition because now he has a opponent to use his skills in all of these different type of weapons with, which is, of course, with Miyamoto. So Gaia, Motobe's student, comes and visits him, and they go into Motobe's dojo, and he's impressed by all of the different weapons that Motobe has. He's picking up different type of weapons. He picks up this thing that looks like brass knuckles, but they're not. They spikes on the end of them, and he's just admiring them. So he's like a kid in the candy store right now. So he tells Gaia that this is his safe space and that all of these weapons is like his own personal toolbox. And then he tells Gaia, well, since you're here, we might as well get a sparring session. What you think? And of course, Gaia is like, hell yeah. And then the episode ends. I cannot wait to see the sensei versus the student. This is going to be good. I am enjoying this season, this series, whatever you want to call it. And as you know, I'll be doing my breakdown, my review on episode 13. So go ahead, like the video, sub to the channel, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.